And I can't even describe to you how important this is and how often overlooked this simple habit is. And I can guarantee you that if you apply this, if you make it... What's up, everyone? So today we're talking about some of my personal favorite weight loss tips, appetite hacks, and things that will just make weight loss so much easier. And these are the tips that I personally use myself to lose over 130 pounds. And a lot of these I still use to this day because I tend to eat a lot if I don't control myself. But these habits done every day help me manage my cravings a lot easier. They make weight loss much easier or maintaining my weight much easier. Like a lot of you out there, I've made a lot of mistakes when I first started losing weight. I've made a lot of mistakes, which is why it took me over 4 years to lose 135 pounds. Now, I know a lot of people out there lose weight in a much shorter period of time, which is fantastic, but I didn't. And I took such a long time because I made a ton of mistakes. And if I knew these tips back then, if I knew how to manage my cravings easier, like I know now, but back then, it would have taken me probably half the time to lose the weight. So make sure you watch this video, you like it, follow me, subscribe, and let's get on with this. So the first tip on how to lose weight much easier is regarding protein. A lot of you know about protein's benefits for your recovery, but as far as weight loss, recovery is important, but it's the other areas that protein helps you with that's even more important, such as how satiating it is. For example, protein is the most satiating macronutrient, which means that if you eat more protein, you're going to be much more fuller for a much longer period of time. And when you're trying to lose weight, the most important thing as far as how do you actually stay on track is, can you manage your hunger in the best way possible? And people tend to fall off track because they can't manage their hunger. Now, if we look at protein and what it does for you as far as how full it makes you feel, it makes the entire hunger management process a lot easier. When people tend to choose protein options, they try to pick whatever protein just because it's protein, but not all protein is created equal. For example, when you're looking at salmon, for example, salmon is absolutely healthy. It's great. However, it's very high in calories because it's high in fat. So when looking at different kinds of protein options, be aware of the fat content. If you're not conscious of the fat content, you will end up eating protein, of course, but you also end up consuming a lot of extra calories from the fat. So in regards to ground beef, for example, if you choose 80-20 ground beef, 20% being fat, compared to 96-4% with 4% being fat, the 80-20 is going to be a lot more caloric if you were to just choose the 96-4, you can have the same amount of food as far as the ground beef for a lot less calories. Another important thing to mention as far as protein. I know people like to drink protein powders, but as far as a weight loss phase, you want to feel as full as possible, which means that chewing your protein is extremely important. So if you're trying to pick a protein shake and you have an option between a protein shake and a chicken breast, the chicken breast is a lot better choice because you have to chew it. It will digest over a longer period of time. And in that same regard, it's going to keep you fuller for a much longer period of time. So I highly recommend to eat as full whole proteins as possible. It's not that processed protein is bad for you. It's not. It's just that processed protein digests a lot quicker, just like any other processed food, because processed food is halfway digested for you. The whole breakdown process of digestion started when ground beef, ground protein was being ground up, and now it's a lot easier to digest. Whereas if you were to eat the protein instead from a whole piece of meat, it would take you a lot longer period of time to digest it, which will keep you fuller for a much longer period of time. And the next thing we're going to be talking about is carbs. And carbs to me are the easiest food to overconsume calories on. For example, potato chips, sweets, cookies, ice cream, they're everywhere. And if you're not conscious of it, it's extremely easy to overconsume calories because you have these delicious carb choices around you. For example, maybe you have a few pieces of candy on the kitchen counter, and then every time you walk by, you grab a piece. Well, here's 20 calories, here's 30 calories. You walk by your kitchen table 6 times, that's easily over 100, maybe 200 calories, depending on what's on your table. So in regards to carbs, I would highly recommend to get most or all of your carbs from fruits and vegetables. And the biggest reason why you want to choose fruits and vegetables is because of volume eating. For example, if you were to have a piece of candy for 100 calories or a chocolate bar for 200 calories, it's not going to digest over a long period of time. It's very easily digestible. Whereas if you were to get those calories from carbs like fruits and vegetables, you would be digesting those foods, the fruits and vegetables, over a longer period of time, not only because they're more voluminous, of course, but also because fruits and vegetables have fiber in there, and fiber oftentimes is overlooked in its power to help you lose weight easier. And this is also why a lot of times people tend to flock to fruits and vegetables when they try to lose weight. It's not just because they're healthier, of course they're healthier, but because you can't eat that many fruits and vegetables and overconsume calories on. You will be full, you will be stuffed, and the likelihood of you eating more is going to be a lot less because fruits and vegetables are so voluminous, they're so filled with fiber that it makes it a lot more difficult to overconsume calories on if most of your carbs are from fruit or all of your carbs are from fruits and vegetables. This is extremely underrated, and I still apply this method to this day for myself because if I know that I'll be eating my carbs from cookies, ice cream, I can easily overconsume calories on it. I can blink and have 500 calories in a little bit of ice cream or cookies. Whereas if I told myself, or I still tell myself to this day, that most of my carbs will be coming from fruits and vegetables. So my choices go from carbs like ice cream and cookies to picking strawberries, berries, apples, bananas, frozen berries, my absolute favorite. So once I eat those foods instead, I end up getting filled up much quicker and not going over my calories quite as easily. Now, the next tip is a little weight loss hack, a little cravings or appetite hack. And this is regarding cravings done late at night. And one of the biggest reasons why I struggle so much is because I tend to eat a lot or snack a lot at night. I'll give you a little example. Maybe my dinner ends at 6 p.m. and I go to sleep or before I went to sleep at 11 p.m. That's 5 hours of time. That's a 5-hour window of opportunity to get hungry and start snacking on whatever's inside the house. So one of my biggest recommendations is, this may be a little controversial, but it definitely works, and I suggest you try it for yourself if you struggle with late night cravings, is to try to have your dinner a bit closer to bedtime. And don't be scared of having dinner after 7 p.m., after 8 p.m., because as long as you meet your caloric goals throughout the day, at any time throughout the day, you'll be absolutely fine. But what eating dinner closer to bedtime does for you is it reduces that window of opportunity that you have to snack or maybe get hungry after dinner and going to sleep. So if your window of opportunity goes from 5 or 6 hours after dinner and before going to bed to now it's 3 hours, that's half the time, half the chance you have of actually consuming or going over your calories. And something else that you can couple with this is to actually make your dinner a giant salad. Make it a giant salad with protein. Why this will help so much, and I still do this myself, is because this giant salad is going to be very, very voluminous. It's going to be filled with tons of volume of food. It's going to be filled with a lot of fiber as well as slow digesting protein. And if your last meal is a salad and you push your dinner closer to bedtime, this will help you almost eliminate late night cravings. So when you're making your salad, make sure it has protein in there. It's gonna be very, very filling and it will digest over a long period of time. However, when you're making your salad, be careful of the dressings, such as the oils, the creamy dressings. You can make your salad go from having 300-400 calories to then putting some dressing or oil in there, and now it has double the calories. Now, since we're talking about salads and dressings, I want to touch on sauces, dressings, and all kinds of seasonings, because when you're not mindful of your sauces, your dips, your seasonings, your oils, and you apply them into your current nutrition, you will effectively make weight loss more difficult because you will be filling up your nutrition with calories that do not fill you up. So when you're looking at different kinds of sauces, dressings, seasonings, make sure it's either sugar-free, fat-free, or as low-calorie as possible. There's tons of different sauces out there that are sugar-free, which make the sauce go from like 60 calories or so to maybe 10 calories. There's ketchup that's also sugar-free. There's different kinds of balsamic vinegars that are 0 calories. And that's a great addition to apply to your current salads, but as well as any other food that you may use dressings or sauces or dips with. For example, there's G. Hughes. There's also Heinz sugar-free ketchup. There's balsamic vinegar. There is also 0 calorie dressings and sauces. So look out for those. Grab them up if you can find them. They will be extremely beneficial because they will help make your regular food that you're eating right now just taste a lot better. And when you're trying to lose weight, you will typically eat the same types of food. So if you can make that food taste a bit different by either preparing it differently or putting different sauces on there, you will have a much easier time losing weight essentially. And the little hack as far as seasoning your food, stock up on as many different kinds of dry seasonings as possible. There's different kinds of companies out there that have 0-calorie dry seasonings, unless you get the ones that have sugar in there, but I would definitely stay away from those because they'll just be adding more calories to your nutrition without any kind of filling benefit. So as far as there's McCormick, there's Mrs. Dash, there's tons of companies out there nowadays that I didn't have before. But if you pick these up, if you stock up on them, on these foods or these seasonings, you can change them up every single day if you want to. You can make your eggs taste different. You can make your chicken taste different. And it will just make your regular food, again, taste a lot better. And I can't even describe to you how important this is and how often overlooked this simple habit is. And I can guarantee you that if you apply this, if you make it a goal to leave your house and just bring food with you and make it a goal to only eat the food that you bring with you at work, you will lose weight a lot easier because the instances of going over your calories or having less control or trying to eat something that is not better for your goals is going to be so much lessened that you have no choice but to make better progress, which means that you should be bringing your food to work every single day. And what this is going to do is, for example, if you didn't bring your food to work, you will likely go to the cafeteria, go to the vending machine, you might go to a drive-through, maybe go to a restaurant outside of work, pick whatever seems the most healthiest, get it, and then repeat the cycle over and over again. However, these food choices are not the best for you, and you have less control when trying to pick them because you don't know exactly what they put in there, the caloric content of these foods, and it makes the entire process a lot more difficult because you have less control unless you bring the food with you. And if you just eat the food that you bring with you, you allow yourself to not make these other choices, because if you tell yourself, the only food I'm going to be eating today at work is the food that I brought with me, this is an immense, powerful feeling of control that you want to maintain as often and as much as possible throughout your weight loss journey. Now, the next tip I want to talk about is regarding snacks. And snacking is when people tend to overconsume calories tremendously because they lose control. They're sitting on their couch, eating popcorn, eating chips, eating whatever they want to eat, and watching TV, and next thing they know, they're over 800, maybe 1,000 calories over what they wanted to eat. And this is a very easy place to put yourself in if you don't control this in the best way possible. So regarding snacks, what I would recommend for you is to choose sugar-free snacks, such as sugar-free Jell-O, sugar-free pudding, sugar-free hard candy. And why hard candy is because hard candy tastes pretty good, but it also, you eat it for a long time. For example, if you were to eat a piece of candy that's chewable, it would take you probably a few seconds, but some hard candy, you would probably eat that piece of hard candy for a few minutes at minimum. And sugar cravings, if they're not managed, it's a lot more difficult to lose weight. And don't forget that one of the biggest reasons why people tend to have cravings is because they don't eat that much throughout the day. They skip meals. They skip meals, especially at work, and they essentially starve themselves up until the time that they get home. And once they get home, anything goes, right? They eat every single thing in sight. They end up binge eating, overeating, and the same cycle just repeats itself over and over again. So make sure you do not skip meals. And skipping meals is extremely important because you may think that it's better for you because you're skipping meals, so you should be losing weight quicker. And what's actually going to happen is you will starve yourself for the first 3 quarters of the day. And the last quarter of the day, you'll come home, you'll binge eat, and then you'll be kind of scratching your head about what's going on. So definitely do not skip your meals. This is not good. It only looks good from a surface level because you may think that, well, I'm going to be skipping some meals, so I should be eating less overall. It looks that way. It looks right on the surface level. But once you start to dive into this, you start seeing that you're going to be skipping a few meals, then you'll be overeating tremendously more than what you would have ate previously if you didn't skip those meals. So don't put yourself in this cycle, and remember to eat at least 2 or 3 times a day. Just make sure you have food constantly digesting in your system, always breaking down and trying to keep yourself as full as possible continuously throughout the day. And what you should also be doing throughout the day is having a decent amount of liquids. This could be water. This could be seasoned flavored water. This could be coffee. This could be tea. If you want diet soda, I absolutely love Coke Zero. Just make sure you have liquids in your system throughout the entire day. This will keep you hydrated, obviously, but it'll also keep you a bit more fuller throughout the day, which will make the entire process just a little bit easier for you. And artificial sweeteners are completely safe for human consumption. They're not bad for you, especially in the quantities that we regularly drink them in. So don't worry about that. Just have generally more liquid in your system throughout the day. And one of the most important concepts that everybody should try to apply if you're trying to lose weight is prioritizing chewing your food instead of drinking your calories. Whenever you look at a plate of food or whatever food is in front of you, ask yourself a very simple question is, are these calories in liquid form, or do I actually have to chew the food? Because if you have to chew the food, it will digest over a longer period of time and it will help you drastically more with staying satiated for a much longer period of time. And even though protein shakes are absolutely beneficial for you, if you were to, for example, drink 300 calories worth of a protein shake compared to 300 calories worth of a steak or a chicken breast or a piece of fish, that food that's steak, chicken, fish, or other kinds of proteins, because you have to chew it, it will digest over a longer period of time. It will keep you fuller for way longer and will make the entire weight loss process just a little bit easier for you, which will compound over time if you repeat the same habit over and over again. Now, as far as what you can actually do to speed up your entire weight loss journey is looking at something that's called NEAT. NEAT just stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And what this essentially means is all the activities that you do throughout the day that are not considered, they're not in the gym, they're not working out. So stuff like doing your laundry, going for a short walk, maybe mowing the lawn, cleaning the house, stuff like that. So what you can actually do to increase your NEAT is maybe clean the house a bit more often, do your dishes a bit more often, maybe go to a supermarket instead of ordering your groceries, or carry the groceries from the supermarket back to your house if you live within a reasonable distance, instead of driving the groceries from the supermarket back to your house. And NEAT plays a very, very vital role in your entire daily or weekly caloric expenditure, much more than people really realize. So if you were to apply this right now, if you were to go for maybe a 10-minute walk, which is extremely beneficial, if you were to clean the house a bit more often, or clean your closet, this will burn so many calories that people don't actually even think about, which will just help you lose weight so much easier instead of trying to eat a lot less, or go for an extra workout, or go for an extra cardio session. Focus on NEAT, clean the house, do your laundry, clean out your garage, clean out your closet, go for a short 10-minute walk, and that will be extremely beneficial. Another thing that you can do to greatly increase your caloric expenditure throughout the day is to make it a goal to, at minimum, every single day to make it a habit to walk outside the house. Because if you just make it a habit to step outside that door, you will likely not walk back in the house 10 seconds later. You will likely spend at least 10, 15, 30 minutes going for a walk, which will burn calories. And if you do this habit every single day, it will burn calories continuously, which will increase your caloric expenditure throughout the week. And a little bonus tip as far as your cravings, or maybe when you start to stress eat or mindlessly eat, is I would strongly recommend to break the pattern of thinking about it. For example, if you're about to reach for a snack that you feel you want to eat, I would just say pause for like 10, 15, 20 seconds and ask yourself, do I really want to eat this food? Because you're likely just doing things out of action, out of just going through the motions. For example, you get a trigger that says, okay, well, I feel like eating something salty or sweet. You grab it because you've done this so many times before. So pause for 15, 20, 30 seconds and ask yourself, do I really want to eat this because I'm hungry, or am I trying to eat this because I'm bored or I'm stressed out? Chances are you're probably just trying to grab this because it's the same pattern you've done over however many years. And if you just pause for a little bit, you will find that you're not really hungry. You're likely just bored or stressed out, and you will effectively not overconsume calories because you don't really want to eat it. All right, everyone. So these tips greatly helped me lose the weight. And like I said before, I still use a lot of these myself today because I'm a bigger guy, so I can easily overeat if I don't stay conscious of what I'm doing at least a little bit, and I put on weight extremely easy. But I still apply these things myself, and I strongly suggest to at least try some of these yourself to make the entire process less frustrating, less overwhelming, and will just help you see a much better rate of success because you know exactly what you should be doing. And if you enjoy this video, make sure you like the video, comment down below, like, subscribe, follow me, whatever it is. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was from this video down in the comments below, or which of these tips you'll be using yourself.